Good morning, students. Welcome to your economics tutorial with your economics teacher Lakshmi Vyas. Today we are going to discuss the chapter which is government budget. We'll complete the entire chapter in the single tutorial today itself. So let's start. First of all, let us see the area of discussion. So we'll start our discussion with the meaning of government budget. After that, we'll discuss some types of government budget, moving toward the components of the same, and among that government receipts and government expenditure, how these are explained. After that, we'll discuss about balanced budget versus deficit and surplus budget. We'll complete is this chapter with budget deficit and implication of budget deficit. So this much is our area of discussion. It's a small chapter, so focus properly. So let's start. First of all, what is government budget? Yes, government in every country is required to undertake various economic, social and other activities. It also like to pursue various policy to achieve certain objectives like economic development, reduction of inequality of income and wealth, etc. So, government has to raise necessary revenue to finance these expenditure. It raises its revenue through various sources like tax, public expenditures, public borrowings. Accordingly, government has to draw a financial plan corresponding to various activities it wants to undertake during a coming year. So, such a financial plan is known as government budget. The definition of government budget is this: the budget of the government is an annual financial statement describing in detail the estimated receipt and proposed expenditure and disbursements of the government under various heads of for the financial or the fiscal year, which is from 1st April to 31st March. So every year government prepares this kind of budget. Now, uh, while the budget gives the estimate for the coming financial year, it also gives the actual financial accounts for the previous year and the revised estimates of the current year. For example, if we see that the budget of 2017-18, this will gives us the budget for estimate of the current year 2017-18. At the same time, it will also give us the actual financial accounts for the year 2015-16 and a revised estimate for the 16-17 year as well. So, government budget is very important. Next is, what are the objectives? Why government needs a budget? We common people need a budget for our financial planning. Similarly, government also needs its own budget for reallocation of resources, for tax concessions, subsidies, directly producing goods and services, for economic growth, for management of public enterprises, for reducing the regional disparities, at the same time for economic stability. So these are few objectives of government budget. Let us discuss the next part, which is the types of government budget. Among the type, I have given 6 different types, but only first 2 is required to be prepared with proper explanation. The very first, union budget. Union budget means the budget prepared by the central government for the country as a whole. Yes, the government of India prepares a budget for the entire nation, and that is called union budget. Till 2016, the budget was presented in 2 parts like railway budget and general budget. But after that, Government of India budget 2018-19 onwards, the general budget and railway budget are merged and it is commonly known as union budget. Secondly, state budget. State budget, as the name suggests, it is this budget prepared by the state government, like state budget of government of West Bengal, budget of government of Tamil Nadu, like that. So similarly, local bodies like municipal corporation, municipal committees, municipal boards, they also prepare their own budget. So basically, you need to prepare 2 types of budget: union budget and state budget. But apart from these 2 important, remaining 4 are also to be known. Plan budget. Plan budget means it's a document which shows the budgetary provision for important projects, programs and schemes included in the central plan of the country. Okay, it gives the detail of the budget support for central plan by sectors of the development. The fourth one, performance budget. Yes, performance budget provides a link between the financial allocation and physical achievement of any particular budget. So it shows the performance of the government in that particular budget. After that, the next one is supplementary budget. Yes, budget estimates of the current year are based on future forecast with regard to revenue and expenditure. So it is not always possible to foresee and provide for all the emergencies like war, natural calamities, or any political instability, which may necessitate extra expenditure. So in these kind of a situation, in these kind of a circumstances rather, the government may find unnecessary to prepare to present in the parliament a supplementary budget to deal with such emergency situations. So that is called supplementary budget, which will supplement the original budget prepared as an union budget. Next is zero-based budget. Zero-based budget. It is the budgetary process which requires each ministry department to justify its entire budget request in detail. So it is a system of budget in which all government expenditure must be justified for each new period. Okay. So only meaning of remaining four is required to be known, but in detail you need to prepare the first two, union budget and state budget. Next is components of government budget. Yes, government budget. The constitution of country demands that the budget must distinguish expenditure on revenue account from the expenditure on capital account. Now, revenue account and capital account are the two types of account in the balance of payment of a nation. Similarly, budget is also presented into two parts. First is revenue budget, second is capital budget. Revenue budget means revenue budget shows the revenue receipts of the government and the expenditure from these revenue receipts. On the other hand, the capital budget shows the capital receipts and capital expenditures of the government. Revenue receipts are those receipts which are not redeemable. Revenue expenditures are related to are expenditures incurred by the government on day-to-day normal functioning of the government. On the other hand, the capital receipts are receipts of the government which create liabilities or reduces assets of the government, and capital expenditures are those expenditure of the government which leads to creation of physical or financial asset or reduction of financial liability. So we will discuss each one of them separately in the form of components of all the types of receipts and all the types of expenditures in detail. So let's start. Components of government receipts. So till now what we have seen, in the receipt section we have some revenue receipts and some capital receipts. So let us discuss each one of them separately. Revenue receipt, as I already told, revenue receipt means the receipt of the government which are not redeemable. Okay, so this has no relation with creation of asset or removal of liability. For example, receipts from tax revenue. Yes, at the same time, receipts from non-tax revenue. All these we have already discussed in fiscal policy, which was the last tutorial. So you can go through over there as well. Receipts from tax like income tax, corporation tax, custom duties which are imposed on imported goods, central or excise duty which are on exports, GST, which is a comprehensive tax on manufacture, sale and consumption of goods and services at the national level. So all these taxes are receipt of the government. Apart from tax, there are some non-tax revenue also. For example, interest receipt. Like central government gives loans to state government, union and territories, government departments like railway, public sector. So from that loan, they receive interest. So that is also a kind of receipt. Dividend and profit. Dividend and profit, like there are some government companies like public sector company, Air India, BHEL. So profit of these companies is also receipt of the government. Borrowing from other liabilities, like government borrows from public, borrows from in public debt. We have discussed this. So borrowing of the government is also a kind of receipt. Grants are also there, gifts and grants which are made by individuals, private organization, or foreign governments to the government of a specific purpose, like relief fund, defense fund. These are also income or in the form of receipts of the government. Okay. So all these receipts are receipts, non-tax revenue and tax revenue. Capital receipts means recovery of loan. Yes. The receipts under recovery of loans are if the central government is giving loan to state government or any public company. So it is a capital receipt. Market loan means if the government is loan raised by the government from the public. Some special deposit or some small savings of the government, provident fund, external assistance, disinvestment. All these are, disinvestment means selling of the shares of the public sector company. So when the government will sell public sector companies share, then these shares will be purchased by someone, and all those shares will give some amount of money in the form of receipt to the government. So these are capital receipts. Okay. So receipts of the government is revenue receipts and capital receipts. Okay. Moving to the expenditure. Components of government expenditure. As receipts, expenditure is also two types: planned expenditure and non-planned expenditure. Planned expenditure is expenditure incurred on various projects and programs covered under the current 5-year plan. It represents the current development and investment outlay on the schemes and projects under the government's planning. Now, planned expenditure can be of two types: expenditure under the central government plan relating to the sectors of economy like agriculture, rural development, irrigation, flood, etc., or expenditure incurred in providing assistance by the central government to state, union territory to finance their development plan. Okay. On the other hand, non-plan means those expenditures which are other than expenditure related to the current 5-year plan. Okay. We can divide these according to revenue expenditure and capital expenditure. All those expenditure which do not create any physical or financial asset or do not reduce any liability are called revenue expenditure. For example, the general services, like to maintain general services of government like defense, law and order, administration, to maintain all these, whatever expenditure government is making are revenue expenditure. On the other hand, capital expenditure means those expenditures of the government which lead to creation of physical or financial asset or reduction of liability. These expenditures are incurred on acquisition of assets, land, building, machinery, equipments, etc. Now, for example, capital expenditure is non-recurring type of expenditure. Okay. Developmental and non-developmental expenditure. Developmental expenditure means expenditure on the activities which are directly related to the economic or social development of the country. For example, expenditure on agriculture, industry, education, health, all these are developmental expenditure. On the other hand, some expenditures which are not related to development, for example, expenditure on administrative services, interest payment, pension, and other type of retirement benefits which are given by the government. All these are expenditures of government, but they are examples of non-developmental expenditure which are incurred in providing essential general services. So the examples which we have given are non-developmental. So in that way we can understand the total expenditure of the government is also capital or revenue, just like the total receipt. Moving to the next part of the chapter, which is Balanced budget versus deficit or surplus budget. Now, balanced budget. First of all, let us know the meaning of the three. Balanced budget means when the government receipts are equal to government expenditure, it is called balanced budget. So, balanced budget means the estimated receipt of the government is equal to the planned expenditure of the government. Secondly, we can say that budget is deficit budget when the government expenditure is more and government receipts is less. So, when the receipts is less than expenditure, we call the budget to be deficit budget. Third one, surplus budget. When the government receipts are more than the government expenditure, we call it a surplus budget. So, a surplus budget means expenditures are less and receipts are more. So, in the table you can understand just the symbols equal to, less than or greater than will make three different concepts about budget. Receipts more means surplus, receipts less means deficit, and receipts equal to expenditure means balanced budget. Okay. Whenever we have a deficit budget, there comes the problem of budget deficit. Children, don't get confused between budget deficit and deficit budget. These are the two different concepts. Budget deficit means the difference between revenue and expenditure. Okay, and deficit budget means when the expenditure is more, the budget itself is called a deficit budget, and in that particular budget, the amount by which expenditure is more than the receipt is called budget deficit. So, in general, when the estimated receipts of the government fall short of the proposed expenditure, the budget is called deficit budget. And there are different types of deficit in our budget depending upon the types of receipts and expenditure we take into consideration. So, in this section, we will explain various measures of budgetary deficit which are used in India. Now, budgetary deficit in Indian budget has been used in various sense. The main measures of budgetary deficit are: first one, revenue deficit; second one, fiscal deficit; third one, primary deficit. Revenue deficit. Revenue deficit means this concept is very simple and straightforward. Revenue deficit denotes the difference between revenue receipt and revenue expenditure. Since expenditure is more, we write revenue deficit equal to revenue expenditure minus revenue receipts. Okay. Second one is fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit means it is the excess of total expenditure of the government over its revenue and capital receipts excluding borrowing. The formula of fiscal deficit is fiscal deficit equal to total budgetary expenditure minus revenue receipts minus capital receipts excluding the borrowing, because we do not include that. Okay. The third one which is given here is primary deficit. In recent year, the Finance Ministry has introduced one more concept of deficit which is known as primary deficit. It was introduced for the first time in the budget of 93-94. Primary deficit means the difference between fiscal deficit and interest payment by the government on its borrowing. So, primary deficit basically indicates the real position of the government finances, as it excludes the interest burden in respect of the loans taken in the past. So, it shows how much the government is borrowing to meet its expenses other than the interest payment. So, it is a measure of fiscal discipline of the government. That is the way government is conducting its financial affairs. Okay. After this, we will move to the last part of the chapter which we are going to discuss is implications of the budget deficit. Here in general I have written the formula of the three types of deficit is given over here: fiscal deficit, revenue deficit and primary deficit. What are the implications? Separately also you can write the implication of the different types of deficit. Here in general I have given 4 points. Very first, if you consider the revenue deficit or the fiscal deficit, these deficits basically shows the government's current financial status. Yes, revenue deficit means dis-saving on the government account. So it shows that the government is spending more than its income, and this implies that resources have to be borrowed from the other sources, sectors of the economy to cover the excess expenditure of the government. So this reduces the resources available for the private investment, and this is a negative impact on economic growth. Secondly, higher borrowing means higher pressure on the revenue expenditure in the form of interest payment. Now this adds to the problem of deficit, because this may impose undue burden on the future generation, because they are the ones who need to bear the pinch of the interest burden. So that is a negative impact. The third one is, since borrowed funds are generally incurred to finance consumption expenditure of the government, a high level of revenue deficit causes inflationary pressure. Why? Because when the amount of money which the government is borrowing is used in the revenue payment, revenue expenditure, so this creates additional amount of money in the market, so which increases the aggregate demand in the economy. And when the aggregate demands are more and aggregate supply cannot increase up to the same level, general price levels increases. And this increase in general price level is known as inflation. So this may cause inflationary pressure in the economy. So basically what we need to say is, whatever type of deficit it is, be it fiscal deficit or revenue deficit, it mainly shows these 4 points. It is indicator of the poor financial condition of the nation, economy, current nation. Secondly, the major impact is inflation. And the third one is increases the future liability of the government in the form of payment of interest and repayment of loan. So these are the 3 more important implications of the budget deficit. Apart from that, there are some other impacts as well, like high fiscal deficit generally leads to wasteful and unnecessary expenditure of the government, and serious implication on the economic development of the nation and the economic growth as well. And a large deficit always implies a large amount of borrowing, which is any time unfavorable for the nation. This was the part of the chapter which is there in the scope of ISC. Apart from this, in the book, the procedure of budget is given. Like the budget process in India involves 4 different operations, like preparation of the budget, enactment or legislation of the budget, execution of the budget, and the 4th one, parliamentary control over finance. So a brief discussion of each of these 4 is given in the book. If you feel like, you can go through, and if you have any problem, you can ask me. Otherwise, it is not in the scope of ISC, so I'm not going to discuss this in this particular tutorial. So thank you so much, students. I hope everyone is trying to understand the concepts. If you have any problem, you can ask any point of time through mail or in the live sessions which we have. Write your notes properly. Try to solve as much questions as possible from wherever you get, be at the back of the book or from the previous ISC question papers. So wherever you get some more questions, try to solve that. If you have any doubt, you can ask any point of time in the live session or through mails. The questions given in previous years in your ISC papers are also very important. You can solve them too. The chapter Public Finance, which includes 2 chapters, Government Budget and Fiscal Policy, we have completed both of them. We started with fiscal policy and now we have completed government budget also. So it is a particular section of the subject. So this has been done. Next we will move to the next portion, which is again micro, moving toward the production part. So till then, take care of yourself, prepare yourself well. Thank you so much.